Let's start with NAFTA first of all. How confident are you that we see a modernised NAFTA?
Oh, well, we're not confident yet because we don't know what we're actually seeing. There's a bilateral deal where we've seen some heads of agreement but no detail, and we're yet to see what happens with Canada. So we'll have to wait and see on that. There'll just be uncertainty at the moment.
What do you think the main sticking points are when it comes to getting a deal over the line between the US and Canada?
Well, we know that there's questions about the state dispute resolution, there's questions about dairy industry, there's some other specific things. It's not just an agreement about cars and steel and aluminium. It should be far more sophisticated than that.
Do you think there are irreconcilable differences then?
I really don't know, and I don't think people do know around the region yet, and we really want to see how that comes through.
Broadly, when you look at the global trade climate, free traders like your own country, New Zealand, there is a perception that this new normal of aggressive trade policy means that you guys are on the ropes. Is that the case, or are you even more committed to pressing the case for free and liberalised trade? Most of
APEC keep taking every opportunity to say how much trade has benefited them in the past and how much more they're expecting of it. Look at, we're here in Vietnam, look at the story here. There's a lot of people have improved living standards, but it's got a long way to go yet. And they see that as happening from trade. So no, I think it'll still be a dominant trade story. We have to pay attention to who the end beneficiaries are, but definitely continued policies on opening up trade and reducing barriers behind the borders.
Do you feel that this adversarial narrative when it comes to trade has breathed fresh impetus into the negotiations, whether it's around getting RCEP done possibly by the end of the year, or the viability of CPTPP even without the US?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pressure on those regional agreements to get them done, to get them ratified, to start implementing and to get them to show some returns, absolutely like that. RCEP, we don't know, maybe it gets a signature of some sort this year. It probably won't be the most exciting thing we've seen, but it'll be the biggest. If they can get India and China plus all together in the same room, that's half the world.
How confident are you that we are going to see evidence of supply chains relocating away from China towards Southeast Asia, the likes of Vietnam and Thailand? That's a process that was already underway, but again, do you think that that is a process that gets invigorated because of these trade tensions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not changing at the moment, but it's always been a very dynamic part of this region. And there's certainly a lot of supply chain managers, logistics people, purchasing managers, first of all working out where does their stuff come from and where do the inputs to their stuff come from to check whether or not they're going to run into any problems, tariff or other supply related. Secondly, I think there's restocking going on, and that's part of the very strong US economy is probably inventory build up at the minute. And thirdly, yeah, they're saying, well, if we're part of a supply chain into China and China's got this advantage by big tariffs going into the US, a lot of that stuff going from China into the US is only getting a certain amount built up in China. A lot of it's originating in ASEAN. Will there be a movement of investment in the hubs to cheaper areas, maybe like Vietnam?
Alan, I'm going to ask you to gaze into your crystal ball and look ahead to the fourth quarter of the year, towards year end. Typically, in the developed world, big peak seasonal demand period. That's when the factories over here start to gear up, etc. That is really going to be the real litmus test to how badly stifled supply chains have been, yes?
Well, that'll depend partly on whether or not we're clear about just how problematic all this trade friction is. There's a lot of threats out there at the minute. If those are really put in place, then yes, there will be a test. But it may be there's still a lot of negotiation going on still at that time.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.